Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about The Umbrella Conspiracy by S.D Perry. Now this is a novelisation of the first Resident Evil game, so it's a book based on the game. You don't have to have played the game to understand what's going on, it's totally standalone. I'm not going to be spoiling anything from the game, it's going to be totally spoiler free, so if you've never played Resident Evil, you won't have anything spoiled for you. So this is based on the original game and not the remake, so it is missing plot points through like Lisa Trevor and that sort of thing. However, it does have its own original plot points which it adds to the original story. So if you've only played the games, this does have some new story to add to you, you won't know the whole plot going in. With that said, I hope you enjoy and let's get started. So if you'd have asked me before reading this what game I think would make a good book, I wouldn't put Resident Evil up there. The original game, it's got shoddy voice acting, the dialogue's really awkward and cheesy, and the plot isn't that interesting itself. However, S.D Perry did do an amazing job converting this into a book. She has her own spin on the characters to make them more human and more interesting than just terrible dialogue from the original game. There's new plot points and there's a new underlying mystery, rather than just what's in the mansion. There is a mystery set up beforehand which is totally unique to the book. So in this book, the awkward dialogue from the game, most of it's removed. There is some of it still in there, however, it is written more naturally, it flows more naturally. In the game it's really jarring and doesn't fit, however in this, because you get to see inside the characters' heads, there's some additional dialogue added and stuff they say makes more sense. And the lines are still there, they're just kind of altered slightly to make it feel more natural, which I think was a great choice. So the Umbrella Conspiracy follows the plot of an elite police force named STARS, and they're sent to investigate a gruesome murder case known as the Cannibal Killers. And there's this group of killers that they don't know much about them, but they know they've been eating people, bodies have been found, and they think they're living somewhere in a forest in the mountains. So Bravo's team is sent to go investigate, and unfortunately Bravo team goes missing. So this is why they send in Alpha team, which consists of Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Barry Burton, Albert Wesker, Forrest, I can't remember his last name, he's the pilot, and they're kind of like your main characters of the plot going in. So this team is sent to investigate the missing Bravo team, who they think have either been kidnapped or killed by the Cannibal Killers. When they land in the forest, things go a bit haywire, not going to tell you too much about what happens, and they end up taking safety in a mysterious mansion they find. Now, why is there a mansion in the middle of the forest? Why is it abandoned? Nobody really knows, and that's kind of where the plot starts to take off, as they investigate this mansion, try and find a way out of the mansion, and also find out what is going on with Bravo team, has anyone survived, are they all dead, who are the Cannibal Killers, how they've been killing people and getting away with it, that sort of thing. So that's kind of like the main mystery of the plot going in. Now the original game does take place as soon as you get to the mansion, but one of the things I love most about this book is it starts off before they actually get to the mansion, so you get to see the STARS team in the natural habitat. So it takes place at the STARS headquarters, and you've got Jill and Chris just acting naturally, interacting with each other, interacting with the other characters, and this is a great way to give you an introduction to the characters in like a safe environment. Because in the original game, when you got introduced to them, you're already in the mansion, so things were already gone to hell. You don't really get a good introduction to who they are, how they act. However, by seeing them in their headquarters just naturally, you do get to see how Barry acts, how Wesker acts, how Chris acts, how Jill acts, and that sort of thing. So it's a great introduction to the characters that I think was missing from the game, because you don't really get attached to them at the start, but with this one, you're already attached to the characters by the time the main plot kicks into force. So in the original game, you could either play as Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine, and they were like the two main protagonists. However, in this, you get to see both of their points of view. Now in the game, the story changes depending on if you pick Chris or Jill. So if you pick Jill, different events will happen. If you pick Chris, different events will happen. The way the book deals with this is that they separate the two characters in the mansion, and you get both of their full plots playing out. Because on other sides of the mansions, the plot don't really interconnect. So obviously in the game, you can't have both Chris and Jill at the same time, see much going on. So I liked how they kind of combine these two plots into one. And there's also a lot of original plot points added while maintaining the key moments of the story of the original game. So in the game, you do get the two different perspectives. However, I feel in this, by combining them into different points of view, it works really well. Because you can have a bit where, Chris, for example, something happens to Chris and Chris screams, and Jill hears it, and then this leads Jill on, you got Jill's point of view, and you see what happens with Jill as she tries to find out what happened to Chris. And this kind of happens in the game a bit, you hear noise and stuff, but in this, it's a lot more interconnected, and things that happen to one character definitely affect the other, which you don't really see in the game too much. So if you're a Resident Evil fan, this book is 5 stars, hands down. It is an absolutely fantastic adaptation, absolutely worth checking out. If you don't know anything about Resident Evil, you've never played it, I'd probably say it's 4 stars. The source material wasn't that great, and it wasn't much to work with. However, S.D Perry did do a fantastic job adapting it. It's a really fun plot, it's a really fun standalone story, you don't need to know anything going in, so consider checking it out anyway. I'll put some links in the description if you guys are interested. Now there are 7 books in this series in total, I do plan to read the rest of them. I know the next one is a standalone plot, and then the 3rd book's Resident Evil 2, so I'm really interested to see where she goes with this standalone plot. There were some plot points introduced that were completely left out of the game, which I do think is interesting. I'd like to see where they went. So if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed, hit like. And what's your favourite Resident Evil game? Leave me a comment below to let me know. If you've never played Resident Evil, does this plot sound interesting to you? Let me know below what you thought of my review. With that said, this is JJ Goodman, over and out.